Hi there, I'm Rebecca and a really warm welcome back to my channel, PumpkinBecki. In this week's video we're going to be doing the annual autumn colour roundup. Let's get started. Well, hello there. Yes, it's been 5 months-ish since my last video. So yeah, apologies for that. It's been a very busy summer doing reenactments. I've had 9 so far since June, so it's been pretty busy, plus there's been costume making and all sorts of things, so apologies, but we are back now. So we're going to have a little look at all the bonsai which are still in autumn colour. Some have very rudely already dropped their leaves and I wasn't able to catch them, like Maple Phoenix has already been and gone, the hornbeams have gone, the beeches, other maples, yeah, everything caught me out this year. But we have some are improving. I took some footage last weekend just to see what I could capture and to make sure I didn't miss anything else. So here is my maple forest, which I bought from Windy Bank Nurseries, the lovely Ken. It has dropped some of its leaves already, but not a huge number, and the colour has improved. Here's what it looked like last week. And now this week. Some colours are a little bit more brilliant, but lots of leaves have dropped. So this forest had a complete reset this year. I had the whole thing out, repotted it, repositioned some of the trees, filled in some gaps where maybe some had not survived. It didn't love being repotted, but it needed it. There was an awful lot of dead root in there that needed to come out, so there's now more space for actual living roots. And I did notice in the summer that it was starting to come back up out of its pot, so it's obviously putting on lots of root again. Once I could see it was recovering and it was starting to push really decent growth, I did start feeding again with BioGold, and that's now all been taken off so that I can start giving it a 0 nitrogen liquid feed, and that's going to help it through the winter, help it put on some vascular growth. It's not going to encourage a leafy growth because it's 0 nitrogen. It is going to encourage trunk, bark, root development. So it really is about supporting the vascular system over the winter, and winter is a great time for vascular growth in trees. So you will see branches and trunks starting to thicken significantly in winter. That's why you have to really watch your wire. If you've wired up earlier in the year, just have a look at it throughout the winter just to make sure that it's not tightening on the branches. Something I'm not terribly good at remembering to do, but yes, it is important. I have still got some supporting wire here just helping hold everything in place, but it's only to right down at ground level now. I haven't got anything up higher holding the trees together. We're all doing very well. And I'm just every now and again coming through and taking out the dead leaves. I always love the way that this particular group is so different, and it could be that it's just where it's positioned, sort of with its back up against a wall, that some of them stay greener, some of them go yellow, some of them really go deep purpley. This one's purple and green. So, you know, I've no idea what these trees are in here. Obviously they are maples, but they were bought as a forest that had been imported from Japan, so it could be a little mixture of things, no idea. But it brings me great joy. This is one of 2 Japanese larches that I have. They were bought as starter trees from Peter Chan at Heron's Bonsai. One I decided to leave in a fairly sort of informal upright style. That has dropped all its needles already. This one I decided I was going to pop into a cascade, or at least a semi-cascade. I was going to see how it went, but actually this year we're starting to really get a proper drop now, so that's lovely. And last week it hadn't turned colour at all. This week we're starting to see that beautiful buttery golden colour that larches turn. You can see that I left the growing tip on, didn't touch that at all, and it has extended really nicely. So that means it's driving lots of energy through. I think I managed to get 3 prunings on this year. It really kept pushing the growth. It was fantastic. And we're now left with these lovely compact little whirls of growth, which are going to get us ready for next year. We're starting to get some really nice side to side movement. I was hoping that I might get a bud popping on here. I haven't so far, but that doesn't mean it won't happen. There are definitely dormant buds sitting here waiting. Maybe next year. But yes, from a little stick in a pot starter tree that cost me maybe a £5, not sure. I think I'm going to have something quite exciting here for me as a novice, and this will start to thicken up over winter, so it is important to make sure the wire's off. You'll notice that I have got, wow, it's really loose actually, a foam covered wire on here that was just trying to keep the bend in place. Because I'd already got some scarring on the trunk, I didn't want to add to it, but I really did want to try and see if I could compress that shape a little bit more, because otherwise it was just kind of It's not been 100% successful, but it's done something. And it's certainly something I can try again next year, and because it's foam covered, it's not doing damage to the trunk. It's just a normal horticultural wire, so it's nothing special in the middle, and it's not particularly strong. It won't really hold shape or bends or anything. I purely wanted it to try and compress that shape without putting real pressure on the bark here. And it's worked well for me in that instance. It also got repotted this year, but it bounced back really quickly. And now a gift from the lovely Jason Hanrahan, one of his Shishi Gashira air layers, which he potted up and posted to me. I took some footage of it last week. So I thought I'd bring it again today and we'd have a look at the beautiful flamey colours it's gone. This is obviously a very strong little air layer that he's taken off a very happy, healthy garden tree. I have done nothing to it since receiving it. It's obviously had more than enough happen this year. Me trying to do things to it really wouldn't have been a sensible idea. So I've just been allowing it to acclimatise to being in Kent rather than being up north. The only thing I'm doing here is just making sure that the wire that is stopping it from rocking while it just gets its roots properly set out in this bonsai soil is not too tight on the trunk. I did also put some moss over the top just to help stabilise the surface. When it arrived, it was a particularly hot, dry period of the summer, and I thought it might just help sort of keep some moisture into the soil. So far so good. And so a huge thank you to Jason for sending me this wonderful air layer. I've never had a Gashira before, so this is incredibly exciting for me. And please go and see his channel. Go and subscribe to him, watch his videos. He's a lovely guy. Yeah, I never thought I would be part of the bonsai community, but yeah, Jason has made me feel very much part of that, as have several others who always get who always seem very pleased to see me if I comment on their videos during a live stream. Nigel Saunders, Dave from Blue Sky Bonsai, who's just written a book. It is Bonsai the Blue Sky Way by David Seymour. Do go and get yourself a copy. The way he explains things is just so simple and logical. I'm really looking forward to seeing this book. It's on my Christmas wish list, and if I don't get it for Christmas, I will be buying it immediately after Christmas. And again, go and see his channel. Go and follow him if you don't already. This is an ACA Palmatum starter tree that I bought recently from Greenwood Bonsai Studios. It's got a lovely colour up at the top, and as you can see, there's this very, very interesting little branch that's come off just at soil level. You can see I'm starting to think about doing maybe an air layer or a trunk chop. This is my Ginko Boba, which I got from World of Bonsai at Cheltenham some years ago. It's just starting to turn. You can just see that slight butteriness to the beautiful, beautiful leaves. It's interesting, this one is resisting becoming a flame shape. It is quite happy as an informal upright. Here, a slightly better look at the way that the colour fades from the outside of the leaves to the centre. And then look at this perfect butterfly. Isn't that gorgeous? That leaf is stunning. This is my little oak sapling that decided in August that it was autumn already and went brown, although the leaves stayed on the tree and stayed quite fleshy. It has now thrown out two side shoots down at the bottom, just below the little side branch there. It's interesting, I'm not sure if it's decided it doesn't want the top anymore and it just wants to work on those side branches, but we'll see in the spring. This is my beech forest, and it is strenuously resisting all attempts at expanding it. I added 3 more trees to it in the spring when I repotted it, and they have now died, and I've had to remove them. So I'm going to have to get some more. Frustrating. Now, the one I know you're all really excited to see, it got a major repot this year. We were wondering how it pulled through. Some people were a bit worried about it. Hella was very worried about it. And he was right to be. I lost Katura. Oh, it started fading almost immediately. In my heart, I knew I shouldn't have been doing root work on it that late. It had already had its full canopy of leaves, but somebody had suggested I could do it, and I thought the bark on this one is so messed up anyway, because there's wire scars, there's all kinds of stuff going on this tree. It was significantly bigger. I did attempt pruning it to try and reduce the amount of transpiration and stuff, and I also removed it from the pot I had replanted it back into, removed most of the soil components and popped in sphagnum moss, because I read that sphagnum moss is a magical place for roots to grow in. Not for this tree. So Katura is no more. But like I say, it was definitely the tree to experiment with, because the bark was really messed up. So I'm not desperately sad. And in the background, I have got myself another Katura from B&Q. I was attempting to see if I could get some cuttings going. These do not look hopeful at all. One of them is still red. Don't know. And she's just starting to change colour. And you can see. I love Katura. I think it's an absolutely stunning tree. Let's see if I can treat this one a little bit better. I think I overcorrected in that I have always been unconfident with root pruning. If I've lost a tree, it has been after root pruning, and so I have shied away from it. So a lot of my trees were starting to get to the point where I was getting a nice canopy happening on, but I hadn't even looked at the roots yet. And I knew that was wrong, and I needed to address that. But I think in my mind, I felt like I needed to do all the things now, and was trying to get myself to the final root form in one hit, which, I know that's not the case with canopies. You don't do that. You don't aim to get the final tree in one sitting. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And if you think it is, you're fooling yourself. And the same, clearly, is true with root pruning. It's something you're going to have to revisit again and again. And if you've got a big, weird root, you're not going to be able to remove the whole thing, potentially, in one sitting. Or if you do, maybe you don't touch anything else. And I didn't yeah, I just went gung-ho. And I also lost my hazel. I had a hazel that I'd bought from eBay a few years ago, and that was starting to look quite interesting. It also had very big leaves. I wasn't sure whether it was a particularly suitable bonsai subject, but it was interesting. Yes, and I overworked the roots on that. You live and learn, don't you? So yeah, I treated myself to a new Katura for £9 from B&Q. No graft. It's a seedling in one of those little fibre pots, which I need to get that fibre pot off. Not now, not right now. It's fine. But yes, that will have to be a job to get rid of that fibre pot, because that will not help with root development. So far, so good. Wow, I have been absolutely dreading sharing that story with you, but yeah, there you go. So my channel is 7 years old, I've just double checked, and my first bonsai video was actually Japanese Larch. I don't know whether it can't have been that one. It might be the other one, but I don't know. I don't have another Japanese Larch, so yeah, that's a mystery. So yes, bit rambly, bit waffly today, but it's nice to be back. And reenactment season is now coming to a close, and we've got one left to do in November at the gorgeous Paycock's house in the village of Coggeshall in Essex, and very excited about that. That's one we do each year, Tudor Christmas. But yeah, my weekends are becoming quieter again. Right, that's it for this week's video. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, share and subscribe to me here on YouTube. And until next time, bye.